Hi, my name is Tara Cosgrove, and this is my investigation for Earth and Space. I chose to do stage 3 with the testable question of, using a model Earth, Sun and Moon, how can you demonstrate the cause of the lunar phases? The title of this investigation is The Lunar Phases, an investigation using a model Earth, Sun and Moon to demonstrate the cause. The aim of this investigation is to demonstrate the causes of the lunar phases using a model Sun, Earth and Moon. Moonlight is from the sun shining onto the moon, in which the light reflects off, causing the moon to be illuminated. The different lunar phases depend on what direction the sunlight is hitting the moon and the angle we are looking at it from. For this activity, students, after demonstration, would work together using the models to show the different positions required for each of the different moon phases. Here is an image of the 8 different phases of the moon sourced from the NASA website. Students will be asked to make predictions on how they think the lunar phases are caused and will be tested using the models. The hypothesis for this experiment is that the lunar phases are caused by different positions of the Earth, Sun and Moon. I've also noted here that students will create a diagram of the moon phases and each position that makes the phases occur. This is an optional extra that I added in as I created a little model. The equipment used for this investigation was styrofoam balls on skewers that I painted to look like the Earth, Sun and Moon. I also, as I just noted, made a separate model using half styrofoam balls and painted the 8 phases of the moon on each. The Sun and Earth remain constant in this to show the positions of the Earth and Moon in relation to it. I used Play-Doh to hold the models while I photographed the different alignments. This experiment sought to engage fair testing to ensure valid results. Using the mnemonic, cows move softly, meaning change, measure, and stay the same for the independent, dependent, and controlled variables. The independent variable was the position of the moon around the Earth. The dependent variable was what the alignment was of all 3 models to create the different lunar phases. The control variable was the model Earth, Sun, and Moon made from styrofoam. For the purpose of this investigation, I kept the Sun in a singular spot to represent its constant position. I chose to not move the Earth either, as this would have created confusing images to represent the alignments. The first alignment that I represented was the new moon, which uses this alignment of the moon in between the Sun and Earth. The new moon is created when the moon is blocking the sun, so the light of the moon cannot be reflected onto Earth. Next, I created the full moon alignment by putting the Earth in between the sun and moon. The full moon is created when the sun is shining directly onto the moon, which allows us on Earth to see the moon in its entirety. Next, the alignment should keep being changed to resemble how each lunar phase is created. I also noted here step 5 of the option for students to create a model or diagram of the different moon phases. These images show the alignments using the styrofoam models that show how each lunar phase is created. From top left to bottom right, these are the alignments for the waxing gibbous moon, the first quarter half moon, the waxing crescent moon, the waning gibbous moon, the third quarter half moon, and the waning crescent moon. Here is a videoed example demonstrating to students that the moon rotates around the Earth, which is constantly rotating. The space in between the Earth, Sun and Moon is not to scale and does not include the Earth rotating around the Sun. As noted before, I created a separate model demonstrating the different moons and the alignment that creates this phase as an optional task in the method for students to create their own lunar phases. The light-coloured areas on each resemble the parts of the moon that are illuminated that we can see from Earth during the different phases. The images shown depict the alignments that can be made with the styrofoam models to show the moon phases based off where the sunlight is hitting them from the moon. To conclude this investigation, the hypothesis for this experiment was that the lunar phases are caused by different positions of the Earth, Sun, and Moon, which is correct and was demonstrated by the manipulation of the styrofoam balls to show the positions for the different alignments. For the discussion of this experiment, I noted that I sought to represent the alignment of the Sun, Earth, and Moon models to create the lunar phases, and that this did not show the shadowing that creates the lunar phases, rather just the position of the models. The limitations of this experiment, therefore, is the inability to see the shadowing. This may be improved by using a flashlight or other light source to represent the Sun, and possibly the use of a larger Moon model to cast the shadows to give a more visual example of the lunar phases. Another limitation of this experiment is that the distances shown between the models were not to scale, and neither was the speed of rotation depicted in the short video. Further, all examples did not show the rotation of the Earth around the Sun. The idea of this investigation was created by myself, and all photos and videos used were taken by myself, and the models were made by me. Thank you for listening.